Hello, welcome to Three Dudes and a Lady. Join us for a little motivation, a little inspiration, and perhaps a way to cope with your day. I am Mike from Virginia, and my gratitude this morning is for this group and what we learned from it.
Hey, good morning, folks. My name is Earl Rule. Live in the beautiful state of North Carolina. And my gratitude for this morning is a beautiful sunny morning and this group as well. They keep me motivated and learn new things every day.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Jay Anderson, and I'm from the wild, wonderful state of West Virginia. My gratitude is the state of West Virginia.
Hey guys, I am Christine Wright, hailing out of the great state of Florida. My gratitude for the day is waking up at 5:30 to walk. We're still focused on it and still working. Today Jay Shetty talked about narrowing our focus. He had stated the average office worker stays with a single task for 3 minutes, and students shift their attention every 60 seconds. So we need to put blinders on, right, to help us get our mental focus, right? Mental focus usually follows our visual focus. He talked about two mountaineers that climbed the Peruvian mountain, and they climbed it up there, made it fine on the way back down. One of them fell and got injured, and they were separated, and it took them 3 days to get back to the base camp. But how he did it was he would basically focus on the next 20 minutes at a time and just focus on that, get there, then do it again and again and again, right? A lot of runners do that where they'll focus on the next thing right in front of them so they can get to that and then focus on the next thing. It helps narrow their focus a little bit. But like when we work on a big project and every time you go to work on it, you check your email instead. Has anybody ever been there? Getting and starting focus isn't always easy, right? We can begin by directing our eyes first, by restricting what we can see, right? If you focus on what we want, our brain will typically follow, right? Like he mentioned, clearing off your desk or work area, what we want to tackle in that moment. We need to shut out the distractions. And there's a lot of distractions, right? These things right here are a huge distraction, right? Like we typically, and that's usually what we get distracted by. And if you have an Apple Watch along with it, or some kind of watch that dings every time you get a notification or something's going on, that's just another distraction. Yes, I wear an Apple Watch because I like it, but a lot of times I turn off the notifications. So I don't necessarily get the notifications all the time. Unless it has to do with my like heart rate or, working out or something like that. But I don't like to get all those notifications because they can be distracting, right? Like we could be in the middle of something that needs our full attention, and then all of a sudden we get a text or we get a ding from an email or we get a ding from Slack or whatever the case may be, right? That distracts us. Would you guys agree? Do you stop and look at your phone? Typically, yeah, we do, right? And kids nowadays are even worse, like so much worse. So, it's the phone's brought in a lot of distraction for us. What do you guys think? What are your thoughts?
Well, this makes sound kind of funny, but sometimes I compare an iPhone or an Android to water. You can't live with it. You can't live without it. And because a cell phone can, it when an emergency erupts, yeah, you need your phone to call for help. But at the same time, a phone could be your worst distraction when you least expect it, especially for students that are in school, or worse yet, when you're trying to work and you got a deadline to meet and your phone is right there and it lights up, email or somebody sends you a text, instantly it triggers, oh, I gotta look at this. And next thing you know, your concentration is off. So that's where the water part comes in and says, oh, I'm gonna be drowning in my work if I don't keep it up. So I mean that's the analogy. That's the first thing I thought of.
So true. Absolutely. Jay,
Does
Mike?
anybody remember the cable TV show Short Attention Span Theater?
No, I don't remember that.
Probably before our time, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was on cable, so it wasn't quite for your time. but it was just it was just today we'd call reels, right? Like 3 or 4 seconds, sometimes a minute, just blurbs from movies and TV shows.
Look, let me just throw this out there. And I know this is off the beaten path from what you were saying, Mike. But for those of us who have passions and goals, if you have a passion for something, it staying on track with that vision to prevent distractions from happening can be very difficult. But if you discipline yourself to doing that in steps, in little steps, like little chunks, if I may use that term, you can get your goals accomplished. But it takes strong discipline to do that because there are so many things that can distract us throughout the day, throughout the week. And by the time the end of the week comes, you're like, I didn't do this. This distracted me. Why me? And then you find yourself like the hamster in the wheel trying to rebound and regroup yourself. Okay, I got to do better. And it happens in our business too. I mean, when we say we're going to do something, you know, and just it can be a killer. But the thing is, if we have our mindset on something that's important that we want to go after, and if we have the passion for it, we're going to find what it takes to do it. But the thing is, do we have the discipline to follow through it? That's the thing.
I agree.
Well, I think the key word, what you're saying there, Earl, is discipline. I can't help to think this is a very interesting one to me because I always thought, okay, that I was a very focused individual. Boy, did I realize I was not. But this goes back to when I was in the car business. I thought that I was very focused, but the reality was I was all over the place because my role required me to be all over the place. Okay. I didn't see it that way when I was in it. I thought that I was focused and was able to take on anything and everything that came my way. The reality was I was scrolling all over the place and just didn't realize it. And I'm going to suggest something here. I think this kind of comes back to when it says to narrow your focus. We have resources right in front of us. We talk about it all the time. And that is, it's kind of like they say, if you don't write your goals down, how can you achieve your goals? Okay. Focusing is also that as well. Write down. We talk about the calendar. We talk about time blocking on the calendar. It's a resource that is one, free, two, very simple, and three, can forge a discipline if used properly. So we have something at our availability by looking at a calendar. And if you put it on the calendar and if you pay attention to your calendar, all of a sudden your focus becomes clearer to you. Let's say that you own your own business, hence the four of us do. We don't write anything down for the week of actions that need to be done. And we just go into the week blindly. Your focus is all over the place. I mean, it's what's next? Okay, maybe here. What do I got to do? What's next? Then it can happen, and probably happens more than we realize. The feeling of being overwhelmed takes over. Then your focus is really in the shitter. Because I mean, at that point, you just you're trying to. Where's my starting point at this point? You're overwhelmed because you feel like there's just so much going on. The reality is there's always a lot going on within all of our lives. That's why focusing is important. So I'm going to be the first on here to just go ahead, submit, and say I am horrible when it comes to focusing. And it is something that I definitely want more of. So I'm making that pledge to myself, not to you guys, because you guys don't care whether I focus or not. The only thing you care about is, am I okay? Right? So let's just chalk it up. I'm going to try to hold myself accountable to make myself more focused.
And Jay, there's
To
one
be
more.
continued.
And Jay, there's one more word that resonates with what you just said, and it's something that people should avoid at all costs, even though half of us probably walk into it anyway. It's procrastination.
Oh, listen, the capital P. Come on, man, I'm here. That's Jay, not Shetty.
If
Anderson, that is.
that's a challenge for all of us. If we can break up our week evenly of things that we're supposed to do, you write them down, be structured. Now, in our business, we have a saying that if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Okay. If for those of you watching, if you're in the numbers business, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about, if you don't know your schedule, you don't know your numbers, what in the world are you doing? So you need to hit the reset button like today and refocus on what it is that you need to accomplish, because by the end of the week, you're probably going to be pissed in the morning that you didn't do this, and the results are a big fat goose egg. And it's just, and the only person that you can blame is the person in the mirror.
Oh, yeah. Listen, this is self-inflicted 101.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it all starts when your week begins. Everybody has a different time frame when their week begins. All right. And I think the important thing is you got to get off to a running start, like running a marathon. Get off to a running start, even though you're not going to be going at full speed. You have to lower your gears a little bit to maintain your speed, your exercise. I'm sorry, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But the thing
Pace.
is, your pace. Thank
Maintain
you.
your pace.
Maintain your pace. And in this business, yeah, you got to maintain your pace. But the thing is, you got to be aggressive with it. You got to whatever it is for those watching, whatever it is you're working, your job, your business. It's better said than done. But the thing is, if you're not trying to get ahead of the game of the things that need to be accomplished, then you at the end of the week, you're finding yourself in a rabbit hole, screaming and cussing at yourself, and probably others as well, saying, "Good Lord, what have I done?" Because of all these distractions that come into your life. So it's important that we pace ourselves the right way, maintain our posture, try to do it with a smile, and just go out there and show everybody what you got. That's my say.
Go ahead, Mike.
So if you tend to procrastinate, and there are 12 or 14 different types of procrastination. I've got the book behind me, but I'm not pulling it out right now.
That's awesome.
If you did tend to procrastinate, and my name is Mike and I'm a procrastinator, the distractions are even worse because they feed you. This thing is horrible sometimes.
Hey, hold that back up, Mike. Question.
Yeah.
Just a simple question. If you pick that up to play a game, do you play the whole game? I mean, when you pick it up and you have a game app, do you at least play one game out of it if you start it?
I think the question is, does he have a game app?
Oh no, he's got
My-
game apps. He's a gamer. Don't. Hey, you're trying to throw age at
No,
that. That's
I
discrimination
will-
right there, buddy.
I will say this: I limit myself to game or apps that are mental development.
Oh, me too.
What if, like I do a daily crossword. I've done it for 667 consecutive days.
Take that, Earl Rule. Okay, whoa. You just said something. Back up. Stop right there. Okay. Here's the point I'm gonna hand with that. So 600 and some days, 660 some days, you played a crossword puzzle.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So it means that you have fulfilled, whether you finished, whether it was incomplete because you just didn't know the answers or not, it's irrelevant. I probably would submit after that many days, you're pretty sharp at filling the puzzle completely. Okay. Only taking a stab. Now, next question. We need this to communicate to do a lot of our work.
Mhm.
How often do we fulfill that?
Daily, but I don't, not usually not enough because everything's getting in the way.
From where I'm from, 1 + 1 = 2. And the two questions did not add up, did they?
No.
But I think the point is made. I don't think an explanation is really needed. You see what I'm saying? But I think that the focus, that's a hard thing. If you
Uh,
if you like something,
hmm.
are you more likely to focus harder on a like than a dislike? I think human nature,
Mhm.
my common sense says human nature would say absolutely. So sometimes it's the focus has to be, well, let's go back. Here's a good one. Decrease friction. We talked about this yesterday. Man, I tell you, Jay is that turkey. He's sly. He is so sly. He's making this circle already this week on us. Slick as can be.
Uh-huh.
Decrease friction goes right along with narrowing your focus. That's part of decreasing the friction, probably, is our focusing. Man, he's slick, isn't he? That turkey knows how to put them in order and just, it's like fishing and just luring that fish right to that hook. He,
Well, he's finishing off the puzzle. I mean,
I'm the fish because I'm hooked to that bait. Let me tell you what, I like following this thing. It's interesting with focus. I think
But wait
if
a minute.
we,
Let me
if
say so. He's the glue that holds us together, right? Because we get on here to listen to him.
right, I think there's a strong correlation. I'm not a therapist. I don't know. I'm not in the person's mind to understand how our brains think. But if we like something, I think the tendency to focus becomes easier. When we don't like something, then the rabbit hole can exist and the scrolling can exist in a heartbeat. And I think we always talk about get comfortable to do the uncomfortable. And I think focusing is part of being uncomfortable. Procrastination, that's nothing more, really, truthfully to be said, that's nothing more than a word for an excuse. Truthfully, okay? In my mind. Listen, I'm a good procrastinator. Don't get me wrong. I understand. Don't I'm not sure that I know how to spell it all the way, but I'm just telling you, I know how to do it. Okay. So I think it's uh it's interesting because narrowing your focus can be such a pivotal point for us. Earl, you mentioned the word reset earlier. Sometimes it's time to step back and reset just a little bit. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to 100% say, you know what? Maybe we need to examine ourselves for a second, critique
well,
ourselves, be
well,
harsh on our own self for a minute, say, you know what? That's me. Yeah.
well. Sometimes during the marathon when we're running, sometimes we have to reset ourselves during the middle of the marathon to see where we're at, and if we have to pick up the pace, so be it. But the thing is, we have to evaluate ourselves to reset sometimes because let's just face it, any journey that we're on is going to have its obstacles. All right. It's how we get through them, it's how we battle them, and we don't procrastinate attacking them. We need to go after them now. Now is the time.
I'll share this with you. This is me. This is being me being transparent. I can say in my mind, There's 5 things that I need to accomplish today. I can say that in my mind in the morning. And it's the craziest thing. I forget about 3 of them through the day. Because I've said it in my mind. And man, I felt good about saying, "Ooh, man, I think I'm going to make some movement here today." And I feel good about saying it in my mind. But then you get overwhelmed, and then life takes place.
Mhm.
If it's on a calendar somewhere and you have it out there, when life takes place, you can look back at the calendar after life takes place and say, "Oh, yeah, I still have 3 more things that I need to try to do today." Christine, you've been awful quiet. This is right up your alley. You could give us a PhD on this. Let me enjoy
I
my
don't know about
coffee
that.
for a second.
Yesterday, I procrastinated and I was supposed to be doing Bible study and I wasn't doing it. I was procrastinating. So, I mean, it happens all the time, right? But Jay, what you said about in your mind, right? You said there's 5 things you had to say. Have you guys ever had a conversation with your spouse and you were like, "No, I told you that." But
But you
in
didn't.
fact, you didn't tell that person that. It was in your mind. You thought you had the conversation, but never ever did that whole conversation come out. Now, bits and pieces might have came out, but never the whole thing, right?
I
No,
did.
I'm not saying never, because sometimes you might have the conversation, but sometimes you're like, "No, I didn't know that." Like my husband was saying he had mentioned, "I might run by Sam's really quick." He never said he was going to. He said, "I might," right? The words that said I might go, because there was stuff that we needed, so I was going to give him a list if he went. I never told him I had a list to give him. He just said he might go, and then he went and he brought back stuff, but it wasn't. We still needed more stuff, and I'm like, "You didn't tell me you were going to Sam's," and he said, "I told you I was going." "No, you told me you were might go," right? So I, I think the procrastination, the focus, I really think taking notifications off your phone unless it's something you need. Like Cicely Newsom did this in a meeting one time where she was like, "Oh, I turn off my notifications when I'm doing a meeting." And I was like, "Oh, you turned them all off?" She's like, "Yeah, I turn all my notifications off so that way during the meeting I can focus on what's being said." I was like, "That is brilliant." Now, if you're a mom, that might be a little bit harder. She's not a mom, so it is a little bit easier. But if you have kids at home, it might be harder to do that because, in case something happens, you want to have access to your phone. Now you could just leave the messages on and not anything else, but you can still there's ways to get around the distractions, right?
Yes, there,
Definitely.
and it also begs the question, part of focusing also is receiving the information. So how you pay attention and listen is just as important as you focus in your mind, because a lot of times, what Christine just said is very, here's a test I learned many years ago. It's a pretty good test. I like it. This sheet of paper, what color is it?
White.
Why?
Yeah, that's what I think it to be white. What do cows drink?
Water.
You're correct. What will most people say?
Milk.
No.
100%. 100%.
I've been caught in that trick bag more than once.
And I've probably done that before to this group, but it's something that being able to listen and really paying attention is part of focusing. So focusing is not you forward thinking and being that. That's part of it. The part of it also is you listening. And then when you do both of those things together, guess what? You just decreased friction.
Right. Yeah, my son came to me yesterday, I guess at the gym or whatever. Some guy came up to him and said, "Hey, how many animals, how many of each animal did Moses let on the ark?"
How many did he what?
How many of each animal did Moses let on the ark?
Allegedly, too.
Moses didn't let any on the ark. He wasn't the
Oh,
one. It was Noah,
Noah.
right? My son got me. Well, somebody at the gym got him with it, and then I was like, why are you asking me that? I was like, that's like but it's not Moses, it's Noah. So, like we just heard how many did he let on the ark, right? And we
Well,
assumed
you're
he was
hunting for
talking,
numbers versus a
yeah,
person's name.
It's
exactly.
like when somebody tells you to touch your nose.
Yeah, yeah. What's the name of that game? Touch your nose or whatever. And he does this, it's there's a name to it. What's the name of it?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
I know
Christine,
what
you never
you're talking
played that? Simon Says. That's what it is.
oh
Simon
yeah, yeah,
Says.
okay.
about. Okay. I didn't realize that's what you were talking about.
Sorry. I caught on what Mike was doing. I was listening.
You were focused.
Yes. Guys, I think it's easy to see that we're not licensed therapists, but can you not see the fun out of this? Can you not realize that we're stretching our minds? We're trying to create a mindset that helps us in ways. It's obvious that we can't do everything all the time, but sometimes we can do things, and particularly what Jay Shetty shares with us, that allows us to get back on track at a faster pace than not. And I think a lot of times that's what we really look forward to is learning ways to help us, as Mike said, a possible way to cope with your dad. So please join us on a daily basis. We listen to the app Calm. On that app, we listen to Jay Shetty, and he provides some very insightful things, life lessons, to be quite frank. And we do this daily, and we like to talk about it.
Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, come back for more. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.
Peace.
Pieces.